Alright, hello everyone. Today we have two trailers. We got the Season 5 Oblivion trailer and we also have the Zwei West Section 3 Ishmael trailer. This one's going to drop on the 3rd of October and this one's going to drop on the 10th of October. So we know that the Season 5 is going to start at this period of time. So for new players and for returning players, you do need to take note of this date because once you hit this date, it means that all of the Season 4 characters will become rotated out. You will only be able to extract them except for the event ones. The event ones you cannot extract or dispense them. But for the regular IDs from Season 4, you can still pull them. It's just that you will not be able to dispense them anymore. So do prioritize your stuff. Alright, so let's just take a look at what the Zwei West Section 3 Ishmael is going to be.
Limbus Company.
Going to last until the 17th of October. That means it's going to be the so-called gateway ID between the two seasons, and this ID here is going to be a standard ID for sure. Very similar to Ufi Heathcliff. Ufi Heathcliff also is going to be an ID that is also in between the seasons and is also considered a standard ID. So this ID being here might mean that we do see some Zwei West associations in the upcoming story because the Ufi Heathcliff, the Ufi clan, the Ufi association was actually in the story for season 4. So I'm guessing with Zwei Association West being here, we are going to see them in the story for season 5 as well. Maybe they're defending some peasants against the Blood Fiends or some shit like that.
떠들지 말고 줄 똑바로 맞춰 서세요. 아침 조회부터 한 소리 듣는 건 질색이라서. 서부에서 스스로를
Alright, so we have a 1 and a 2.
너무 믿지 마세요.
We have 1, 2, 3.
날개 소속이면 모를까.
Then we have 1, 2, 3 also on the skill tree. She does mention here that there are other night orders like M Corp's Lunar Visage order. So there's going to be maybe some mention of that in the story, or maybe we will straight up see them in the storyline. Don't know what's their relevance with the story yet. It's too early. Okay, so besides the 2-3-3 coins, we also have a unique one-sided clashing defense skill. By that I mean you clash with your defense skill. So if you win this, you get to do a hit here which will tremor burst the target. So this character is very similar to Earl King's counter. It's basically the Ruina counter, but it's the block version. When you block in Ruina with a counter block, you will clash with the block coin, and then after that you will win, and then you just deal stagger damage to the opponent. So in this case here, the stagger damage is dealt through a tremor burst here. So I'm guessing that this guard skill is going to apply a bit of tremor on the enemy, and after that you will burst them to represent the stagger damage that you deal with in Ruina. But as for whether she's actually a tremor ID, I'm not convinced yet, because I didn't see any other tremor bursting from her other skills. So I'm guessing she's just going to have aggro generation for sure, because she's a tank. She's going to maybe have defense level up shenanigans because of the Zwei Gregor. Zwei Gregor is a defense level up character. And then the guard skill just happens to have the so-called clashing ability with the ability to do a tremor burst if you are able to win the clash, and you just straight up take no damage with it. So yeah, great sword using that as a shield is just pretty cool as a design. Very, very nice. And another thing here is that if you lose, that's the losing animation for clashing, you will be able to convert yourself into a blocking stance. So losing the clashing is not so bad. If you are using like Earl King, if you lose, you straight up just take the damage. But in this case, you become a block instead. So I'm guessing the guard skill here, you clash, you win, you get the tremor burst, you lose, you just get a blocking. So you just generate a shield and protect yourself from damage output. So that's pretty okay, I think. Tank ID is not particularly important for Limbus Company gameplay, because as long as you just kill the guy before they kill you, you pretty much are just winning the entire game. So this is probably a tank ID, unless the scaling on the skill 2 and skill 3 is going to be really good. Really can't tell whether this character will be very good or not, but either way, this banner is legit just her. So please do not pull on this banner. You should actually never pull on any banner in Limbus except for Walpurgis. because you can just spark every single character in the game. So this banner in particular is one of the worst banners to pull on because there's only one 3-star ID that you're getting from this banner. If you were pulling on at least like something with a ego and a ID, then you would have a chance of getting either or at a higher rate. But in this case, you're only getting one ID at a higher rate, so it's not ideal. So we'll definitely see some Zwei associations in the next chapter, and this Ishmael ID might be as forgetful as someone like Ufi Heathcliff. Okay, Ufi Heathcliff, at least you have some grid clashing, right, for Tremor. So it's not really a Tremor ID, it's just more of a, okay, I'm Ufi Heathcliff and I can clash it good. Maybe this character will be, okay, I can do that one-sided guard thing, and I can counter enemies, and I can do some Tremor bursts. So I have some sort of niche. But if you're really just a full tank, I don't think you will actually be very, very viable in any team comp. So yeah, we just have to see what the numbers are, what she actually does with her other skills. Because just having a Tremor guard on your guard skill is like whatever really. Okay, so now let's move on to the Season 5 Oblivion. Let's just take a look.
이게 뭐죠? 인간들을 잡아먹으려고 하는 못된 혈기들이네요.
So we get this voice that we've never heard before. I have only read like a summary of Don Quixote. I've never actually read the novel. Is it even considered a novel? It's like a book, right? Whatever. But basically, in Don Quixote, Don does have a lover, a so-called lady that he has to do chivalrous acts for. So I'm guessing that could be her, whoever she is. Or this could also just be more the blood fiend side of things, where Dawn is supposed to have two people who are higher than her in ranking. There's supposed to be the first blood fiend created by the boss, and then there's the actual boss blood fiend that made all of them. So Dawn is really high up the chain with being number 2, so she's very, very powerful. But either this one is like a superior blood fiend compared to her, or it's a blood fiend hunter, because later on she does mention that they are here to kill a bunch of blood fiends and whatnot. Another thing I want to talk about is that the design is going to be a giant scissors blade here, and it's going to be a bunch of curly hair stuff here. I just want to point out that this is just Gwen from League of Legends, because Gwen from League of Legends is legit a scissors, a curly hair here, and then wearing a dress. So I don't know. I mean, it's literally just scissors as a sword and then the curly hair shit, which is just like, okay, this is just Gwen from League of Legends. We're going to La Mancha land. By the way, Don's full title in the novel is Don Quixote of La Mancha, and La Mancha is the place that she is from. So we are going back to where Dawn is from, and that is why it's called La Mancha land. So we can see all of the little references to the novel here already. Very, very nice.
어떻게 할까요? 자, 못된 혈기들은 물리칠 절호의 찬스.
Yeah, here's the line. It's time to exterminate all of these bad blood fiends.
너무 신나지 않나요?
So either she is one and she's laughing about it, or she actually wants to slay them.
당신이 겪은
And then now this voice, recall the days of adventure you once lived. If I remember the novel summary correctly, there is someone who so-called collates all of the Don Quixote like feats that he has done in the novel, and he actually retells the story. So someone like Nelly, pretty much. Well, not Nelly, but the other guy, the guy who stays with Nelly. Yeah, the guy who stays with Nelly. So I'm guessing that this is that person, or this is the Squire Sancho, but I really cannot tell at all who this person could be.
모험의 나날들의 대서.
본인이 다 말하기에는 입 아플 정도로 위대한 모험을 하고 온 자인 것은 맞다네. 겉은 수작 부리지 말게나. 보물을 찾는 것도 물론 중요하지만 우동 같은
So Dawn has come here to
물리치기 위해
vanquish the wicked blood
이곳에
fiends.
왔으니 멈춰.
And in Limbus Company fashion,
당장 멈춰.
Dawn cannot be happy in her story because all of the other sinners also have not had a good experience in the early stages of the chapter. So going into Dawn's canto, we can expect some really, really sad or really, really angry shit to happen in the first few cantos, at least the part 1, part 2, and then after that part 3 we'll see how it goes. Hopefully she becomes her happy form again. But something clearly happens to the shoes here. And then what happens is that we get the Bloodfiend Dawn, who did appear already in the storyline, to appear again. And here, this is going to be 400 roses, the Ego event. And the Ego gift is going to be Carmilla. So this is Carmilla Ego Dawn for the for the peak of the battle pass here, which we will only get in part 3. I'm guessing that this Ego is going to be the thing that says bleed, because holy shit, bleed status currently is just so bad outside of Mirror Dungeon. In Mirror Dungeon, it's perfectly fine because of Wound Cleric giving you a bunch of count. But outside, it's very, very hard to generate count unless you pay the WoW Rodion tax, where the WoW Rodion Ego is going to make your count not drop for a while. The unfortunate case is that if you don't have Rodion in your team with a bleed ID, you're pretty much going to have a bad time because of the fact that you want to get the WoW Ego Rodion to make your bleed count increase a little bit. So hopefully this one plus whatever IDs appear in Season 5 are just going to be focused on giving us a bunch of bleed count. Please just make bleed good. Like, it doesn't have to be super amazing, just make it easy to access and just pretty solid, you know? Like, Sinking got such a huge support in the Season 4, right? We got butterflies, we got echoes, we got ruin, we got so many little things, and even the Bygone Days Ishmael was just additional sinking support that gives you 10% extra damage and more spreading effects. So it's just so much support for sinking. Season 5 is probably going to be the season for bleeding, and who knows which Kanto is going to be the one that gives us the Rupture support that we would want. Rupture is not terrible. Rupture does have a niche. It's very, very hard, and you have to jump through a lot of hoops in order to make it work. Just kind of like Bleed, honestly. You have to jump through many hoops in order to make sure Bleed works. It's not so tricky compared to like Rupture. For Bleed, it's straight up just take anything with count and just slap count. And for Rupture, it's you gotta maintain the count as well, and you gotta keep track of all the shit. But for Bleed, it won't really matter because it's only on enemy move rather than on you hitting them. So yeah, this Bleed support, please be good. Please just give us like a bunch of unique Bleed shit. Come on, let's go. This is the season for bleeding, so we better get some support. And this artwork is also so good because of that long hair Dawn. Very, very nice. I love the red eyes. And holy shit, this is just such a huge glow up for Dawn, or glow down, I guess. I don't know. This is supposed to be her second face, when she doesn't have the shoes. And I want to know why does she have to split herself into the regular Dawn form and the Carmilla Dawn form, pretty much. And then here we have the different font as well. Dawn here has the red outline, the red border on her font, and then this one is just a black font. So I guess it's supposed to represent the darker side. I'm guessing that this one is supposed to be the second Dawn talking rather than this one, which is the first Dawn talking, which is the Dawn that we have known for a while already. Alright, so nothing much else for the rest of these parts here. She just mentions like the blood fiends are very, very dangerous. Don't underestimate them. They are always going to be worse than you imagine. Blah blah blah. Whatever, we'll find out when we actually fight them. But hopefully, I want my bleed support. That's really all I care about from this season. I just want a bunch of bleed support, and I want to see the story for season 5, and I also want to hear the music that Millie has planned for season 5 as well. Can it peak higher than Heathcliff? I don't know how peak we can keep going, you know. The Heathcliff season, we had freaking red gaze moment. We had like Heathcliff distorting moment. Like, what kind of crazy shit is season 5 gonna give us? Is Dawn gonna distort also in this season? Will we get red gaze or some other color appear before us? Is the violet tear, is it violet tear? No, purple tear going to appear here, and will we finally know what Yori's plans are for all this shit? Really, whatever. Like, there's so many things that could happen in season 5, and I can't wait for Kim Ji-hoon to show us what he has cooked up for this season here. Alright, so that's pretty much it. If you have your own theories or you know the novel way better than me, I'm sure a lot of you know it better than me, feel free to just shoot whoever these characters you think they are. I think it's funny that I think there was a very, very old Reddit post that predicted that Dawn is actually a blood fiend, and it is legit just true now. So hopefully someone like that can also predict what the hell is going to happen in season 5. And yeah, that's just going to be very, very awesome. All right, so that's going to be it, guys. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.